What is going on, Sports Wars? We're here and we are live, and I am not in my normal place. I'm not in my room. In fact, I'm right in the heart of Texas. Well, I mean, at least Dallas, Texas. I guess that's not technically the heart, but I am in Dallas, Texas for something completely unrelated. But I will be going to a Rangers game very soon after this stream is over. I'm also in Dallas the same week that the Cowboys play the Bears in Chicago. So a lot of Dallas fans all over. Very excited to play against a terrible defense like the Bears, which I guess I shouldn't be surprised by. But Beardo, how you doing, man? Rocking the Giants.
I'm rocking the Giants because they're going to cover tonight. They're not going to win.
What a bold prediction.
They're going to cover. No, I'm doing good, man. It feels good that we got football on today, so I'm happy.
You know, Kansas City has been for the last, Will would probably know better. In my recollection, for the past 3 years, Kansas City has probably been awful against the spread.
They're one of the worst.
Because, in these last couple of years where their offense has taken a step back, yet they still are perceived and by so many people as what they were before. They get a lot of normie bettors that push those lines up and everything. And they have been terrible against the spread for the last 2+ years.
Yeah, and it's just because of stigma of who they are. This line tonight should probably be 3.5, but because it's the Chiefs and they're 0-2, it's 6.
Yeah. Well, and look, the Chiefs have played two tough teams, obviously, throughout the first 2 weeks of the season. So now they get to play the Giants. So I'm sure they feel good about that. Does Russell Wilson have a repeat of last week? Does he throw for 400 yards and 3 touchdowns and look like 2013 Russ? That's the question.
Man, wouldn't that be nice? But the main thing the Giants got to do is their defense. They got to put pressure on Patrick Mahomes. If you put pressure on Patrick Mahomes, I think the Giants can keep it a close game. Plus, the Giants left tackle, Andrew Thomas, he missed the first 2 weeks. He's back. And when Andrew Thomas is healthy, he's one of the best left tackles in the league. So I feel good about having him back tonight. But we got to focus on mistakes. A lot of penalties last week against the Cowboys that shot us in the foot. And, without some of those penalties, I think the Giants probably win that game easy if you score in the first 2 drives. With how close the game was going to overtime, I think the Giants should have won last week. But those damn penalties, man. So we got to clean it up.
Yeah. And we got Will from Game On. What's up, Will?
Not much. I don't know what's more frustrating from last week. Denver, my best bet, loses because of a leverage call, and that's 15 yards, apparently, I guess. Questionable there. Or the Cardinals blowing a 27-3 lead to not get the cover, or handicapping the Buffalo game perfectly about Josh Allen playing poorly in New York, and yet New York never had a chance to cover that spread. It was a rough week, but I'm doing good.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a rough week, but hey. Those happen. They can't all be great ones. You also, I'm pretty sure on this stream you somehow picked the Chicago Bears to beat Detroit.
Yeah, that one didn't go my way either. It just
straight up, that was kind of wild.
I'm glad I put it as a 1 on the confidence picks. So
good idea. I also have the Bears at 1 in my confidence picks this week. So we'll get to those. But over on the Rumble side, Jose Contreras is letting us know what the standings are. So last week, I went 12-3. Beardo went 12-3. John, who picks some upsets, went 9-6. And Will went 11-4. So that takes us on the year. I don't know how these numbers work out, but I'm 22-6. Beardo is 22-6. John's 19-10, and Will is somehow 22-7.
Yeah, I don't get that, but okay, I'll take it.
He got an extra loss in there, which I like. Me and Beardo are now tied for the lead when it comes to win percentage. So not sure.
I'm third in the confidence pool, so I'm doing pretty good over there.
I'm fucked in the confidence pool because my picks didn't save for week 2. So even though I would have
said that last week, I almost did that same mistake this week. I went to exit out and it was like, you didn't save. And I'm like, what? Because it auto saves after the first time you save, but not the first time. It makes no sense.
I completely fucked. So I'm done. I'm done in the confidence. I'll still keep doing my picks, week to week, but I'm fucked. No one to blame but ESPN, their fantasy thing. So I'm not blaming myself. It ain't my fault. Zenny Biscuit with last week, I forgot the Kentucky Derby Trail officially started with the Iroquois Stakes. The Iroquois? I say Iroquois. I don't know what you guys say.
Mm.
And the winner, Spice Runner. Spice Runner, like a Star Wars smuggler. I like that. Thank you, Biscuit. Chris Cran, Giants are winning tonight. Bank it.
All right, Chris. All right. Thank you for the 2.
Chris Pruitt, question. If your team doesn't make the playoffs, do you guys cheer for a team in your division to win? Don't know if I should root for the Brewers.
Absolutely not.
Typically not, because I typically hate those teams more.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
It's usually the way I feel about it. At least, I feel that way in most professional sports. When it comes to college, when you have 10, 12, 16 teams in your conference, sometimes your team doesn't make it. You're kind of rooting for like the Big Ten to represent, unless it's like an arch rival, right?
Yeah, like if you're a Michigan fan, you're not rooting for Ohio State in the national championship.
Yeah, but if it's somebody else, remember the conference, you're like, yeah, we want to show Big Ten.
I would root for Oregon when they were going for their titles, just because Pac-12.
Oregon, big time Big Ten legendary powerhouse.
Yep.
I will say though, like when it comes to baseball and football, I won't root within the division, but I'll root for the conference. Like I'll root for NFC teams most of the time in a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I guess I don't have too much like allegiance when it comes to that stuff necessarily. But yeah, do I want to am I going to root for the Packers? No, I'm going to root for every player in the Packers to fucking tear their ACL and like put them in embarrassing. Yeah, fuck that. I ain't doing that shit. The Packers are. It pisses me off so much because there was so much Packers Super Bowl hype after the Micah Parsons trade, and through the first 2 games of the season, they've looked really good. Which is just so utterly depressing. I fucking hate it. I absolutely hate it. But before we get too much in the NFL, I wanted to take a little time to talk about some baseball because we are wrapping up this baseball season. And, we did find out, shouldn't really come as a surprise, but Clayton Kershaw announced just before his game the other day that this is officially his last season. And when you look at his usage and when you look at, what he's done this year, it's not really a surprise. I do think it's time for him to hang up the cleats. But, Clayton Kershaw, 3,000 strikeouts, only 220 career wins, which is kind of shocking, based on how long we feel like he's played and based on 300 wins being such like a key big time number for people to hit in the past. No one's going to fucking hit that anymore. They just aren't. But dude's got a 2.54 ERA in his career, which is, I think, the lowest in the live ball era. So, I mean, dude's a punch-in Hall of Famer for sure. But, yeah, calling it quits. And we'll see how much he gets used or utilized in the postseason. I don't know. Hasn't always been his forte, in the playoffs. Right. He's had some rough moments. Has won 2 World Series with the Dodgers. But
One World Series.
Yeah.
2020 does not count.
Because 2020 doesn't count.
Yeah.
Got it.
2020
he has 2 rings.
Not count.
So. But.
No, I feel like Clayton Kershaw should have retired probably a few years ago. He doesn't have much of any gas in the tank left, and when he does show up in the postseason, it's not really too well. And then for his last game in the regular season, they pulled him out pretty early. He was at 90 pitches in the 5th inning, and they were losing. So
yeah, he gave up 2 runs. It's not like he gave up 8 or something.
No, I know, but the score was 2-1. They pulled him out. There's he's smiling and stuff, and it's like, bro, you were losing. I don't know, but me being a Dodgers hater, I don't know. I thought that was funny. Fuck Clayton Kershaw, to be honest.
Well, then Shohei made sure that he didn't get a loss on the record. But Kershaw has only been pitching around 5 innings ish. That's just kind of been what he's doing this year. Started off on the IL, stuff like that. But regardless of how you feel about the Dodgers, Kershaw has had a hell of a career.
Yes.
And I respect Clayton Kershaw a lot for being vocal against the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence bullshit, him bringing the Faith and Family Night back to Dodger Stadium and stuff like that. I respect him for that 100%.
I think he could be good out of the bullpen in the postseason.
That's the only way I really see him being utilized too much, once you shorten down these rotations. But we'll see. Clayton hasn't been the best, but I'm sure if there's a spot for him, he's going to give it all he can. So
Absolutely.
Matthew Stafford was at that last game too. Him and Kershaw have been friends for like since they were kids or in high school or something.
Yep.
And now both those old men are in the same city.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanted to I put Tigers collapse in the title because the Detroit Tigers in the AL Central, there is no other way to describe this other than a monumental collapse. I think in July, the Tigers were up 13 and a half games. I think that's what they're up 13 and a half games at some point in July. And they are on the cusp of giving up that lead to the Cleveland Guardians, the gayest name in baseball, who are on a 10-game winning streak, who have no business being this many games above 500. The Cleveland Guardians have a negative run differential on this season, yet they are 84-71 and are very close to completely and totally evaporating that Tigers lead. Which is just fucking wild to witness. Now, I think ultimately the Tigers, even if they do give that up, they're still going to make the playoffs in a wild card spot. Just when you look at kind of how things look right now, it would be how a lot of things would have to go completely against them. But they have lost like 5 in a row. But a historic collapse for them in the AL Central, man.
Yeah, it's wild because they were the hottest team, the best record in baseball for the first half of the season, and then I think historically they were up there with some historic numbers as well. And then just this collapse quietly too. It wasn't until like you looked at it because they were so far ahead. And then this story pops up this last week. And I'm like, oh my God, did they really blow that? I haven't been paying attention to baseball, let alone the Tigers, but it's just wild.
Yeah. And as we're just kind of looking at everything coming down, we do have, some divisions are kind of figured out, at least when it comes to the NL, right? Dodgers have clinched, Brewers have clinched, the Cubs have clinched in terms of a playoff spot. The Phillies have clinched. They are hammering everybody else in the NL East, but the AL is a question mark. I don't think, even though like the Royals aren't mathematically eliminated, they're basically eliminated. Even though the Rangers aren't mathematically eliminated, they're basically eliminated. And here's kind of how wild card spots are shaking out right now. You got the Blue Jays just barely hanging on to that AL East. You've got Yankees, Red Sox, Guardians, and Astros. And then Rangers and Royals barely still in contention. A lot of things would have to go right and a lot of things would have to go wrong for these other teams. But, you know, the Guardians, I think, period, are going to be in all likelihood, but they could actually clinch the fucking division if the Tigers give it up.
Mm-hmm.
And then
is John not here because Houston gave up the division lead?
I believe so. He didn't want to talk about his Astros. No, John's got stuff going on, and I think next week he's going to be at the Houston Texans game. So
cool.
Yeah, so that'll be cool. And then when it comes to the National League, you see the Cubs easily clinch. Look, the Brewers have been fucking playing so well. They evaporated Chicago's lead, and it's not like the Cubs have been playing terrible, but they did clinch that wild card spot. The Padres are sitting pretty in that second one, and then the Mets and Reds. Now, the fucking Mets. All right, the fucking Mets are collapsing themselves as well. The Mets have a horrible fucking record in the aftermath of them celebrating Pride Month in June or whatever that was. Ever since they flew the Pride flag instead of the American flag and put it up on the board for the national anthem, they have been dog shit. They're like 50-70 since that moment. And the Reds are powering. They beat Chicago a couple times this weekend already, as Chicago's already clinched. But it would be funny to see that happen for the Mets. We're going to see what happens here. Like both these guys fighting for this one wild card spot. So the Astros could miss out.
Mm-hmm.
But
I'd love to see it.
I'd love to see it too. I'm ready for playoff baseball.
Yeah.
And once you get in, anything can happen, man. Anything can happen once you get in the postseason.
Yep.
Which I know you wouldn't know anything about that, Beardo.
No.
Here.
No. Yeah.
But
been a long time.
But yes, but I will be going to the Rangers-Marlins game. Both those teams technically are not eliminated from playoff contention, but it would take a lot for either of them to have a chance. So we'll see how that goes. I think it's the Rangers home finale too, by the way.
Isn't that funny? You're going all the way to Texas to see
the
fucking Marlins.
Yeah. I happen to be here anyway, so it just kind of worked out that way.
Yeah.
Just kind of worked out that way. But we did get to watch the Bills and the Dolphins play on Thursday Night Football.
Yep.
I was not surprised that the Dolphins were able to keep it where they were. I got to be honest, the Bills have not looked impressive this year, period. Josh Allen looks impressive.
Yeah.
But yeah, you go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say the same thing. There's just something like, yeah, they're winning. They'd be like, what? They beat the Jets by 20 or whatever, and they won convincingly the other night, when they pulled away late. But I'm like, it just feels like there's something missing from this offense. There's like something that isn't clicking yet. It's just basically Josh Allen being Josh Allen. There's still like something missing to where this team could to reach their full potential, which is kind of scary.
I mean, James Cook is playing lights out right now, and they have that dual threat at tight end as well. But I feel like they don't have a true number one wide receiver. Like they have Keon Coleman and Khalil Shakir, which fine, Josh Allen makes it work, but they're missing a true number one threat. But I mean, they're 3-0. They're looking really good. But like AFC East matchup, I thought it was going to be more of a blowout than it was. And the Dolphins started off hot, man, between that dual threat at running back with Achane and Gordon, too, scoring the first touchdown of the game. I was like, okay, maybe their run game, that's going to keep them in. And then all of a sudden they open up the playbook. Tua's making mistakes. That tragic interception at the end of the fourth quarter, which pretty much sealed the deal for Buffalo. But Miami was kind of in that game for the entire time.
I didn't even know what an Ollie Gordon was until he scored that first touchdown. I'm like, what is that?
it feels like, look, quarterbacks are gonna like throw interceptions at points. It feels like Tua's are all very similar, right? It's not him like trying to force the ball downfield or make a play. It's like complete coverage misreads. You know, like these interceptions to, either cornerbacks or linebackers that are sitting there in zone that he's just completely misread the defense on. It just seems to be those are consistently what we see out of Tua. And obviously a lot of people are losing patience with him. A lot of people losing patience with Mike McDaniel.
Can I say something about that real quick?
Yeah.
The Dolphins don't have a Mike McDaniel problem. They have a Tua problem. All right. I know Mike McDaniel endorsed Tua and tied himself to Tua, but everyone wants him to get fired, which, so be it. But I think it's more Tua than it is McDaniel. And the Miami Dolphin ownership, they owe Brian Flores an apology. All right. Because he came out there and said that Tua sucks and got on his ass and said he doesn't want him as his quarterback. And he was right. Tua does suck.
Low football IQ Tua.
Low football IQ.
I think that here's the thing. If the Dolphins were playing, like putting the same product out in the field and Mike McDaniel was a different personality, I think that we might be talking about them moving off Tua and starting over with somebody else. The problem is the way that Mike McDaniel conducts himself, the way his vibe, his fucking weird gay attitude. It just is like, it's not conducive to people having patience with someone like that. That type of thing can get you a long way and it can be really popular and go viral and stuff when you're winning. When you're losing, it really rubs people the wrong way and they have no patience with it. And when you feel like the team is lacking leadership from its head coach, it's tough to be like, let's roll the dice again and get somebody else in here. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's also tough when you got to look over there and you got Tua as your quarterback. How is he supposed to be happy? No wonder he was talking about death earlier in the preseason.
I suppose, yeah. I suppose.
But I get what you're saying. I agree with it.
But yeah, and we got games to talk about today. We're going to go over them. Let me catch up with Super Chats and we can start to make our picks. Alex McCarthy for 2. Jags will win. Meta PC, RK Outpost, or Beardo.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks, Alex. B-Chain, brutal loss by the Mets against the shitty Nats. Yes, Juan Soto was very upset about that proper strike called at the end of the game. Gonna laugh my ass off if they fail to make the playoffs. Cubbies probably gonna sweep them. Let's go, Mets. I don't know. We'll see. Right now, if things ended today, I think the Cubs might end up playing the Padres. Maybe I guess I'd have to look again. I think. Matt Stranger, hope the Phillies can finally get a fucking ring. Go Panthers.
Yeah, in a long time.
B-Chain, Detroit making the 07 Mets look competent. Yeah, this would be one of the biggest, maybe the biggest collapse we've ever seen. Like from 13 and a half games up. Now, obviously, it's different now with so many wild card slots and shit. But Tony Morrow, Santa Barbara, watch my Rams take down Philly today. Whose house? I fucking hope that happens. I hope so badly. Zero fucks. How about them Cowboys? How about them?
Whatever.
Hey, look. I would take you if you're on Prize Picks today. Dak Prescott over passing yards, CeeDee Lamb over receiving yards, like Ferguson over, like everything. It would be my feeling about how this game is going to go. But B. Jane, it was Senga getting hurt, but that coincidentally happened at the same time as Gay Night Fiasco, LMFAO. Soto's having a good season at least. He's having a solid season. You know, the truth is when you give somebody $750 million,
right.
You expect greatness, at least for when he's in his prime, you know. He's certainly had a solid year, though. McCock going to the Astros game tonight with my mom. Let's go, Stros. Beardo's mad his parents didn't love him enough to take him to games.
What? Okay.
I don't know. Let's fucking go. Jake Browning and the Bengals. Happy Sunday, folks. Happy Sunday. Well, it is a Jake Browning and the Bengals. It is a there's a lot of backups playing this week. We're already getting a lot of crazy injury stuff happening in weird matchups because of that. But let's go through it.
We're getting Rich Eisen feedback up in the top corner.
Rich Eisen?
Said, last question before we move on.
What the fuck? I can't hear it.
It was on the ESPN page. You just had to pause it or mute the little video in the top corner.
That's weird because I have the site muted, but you guys could still hear it.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
That's fucking retarded. Why would it? What's the point of that? But anyway, thank you for letting me know.
Yep.
First game, Packers at the Browns. Packers who have looked very impressive so far this season. At the Browns who haven't necessarily. I got the Packers in this game. The Packers are dealing with some injuries. I don't know if Kraft is going to be able to go for them, if their tight end is going to be able to go. But I don't really care who is injured. I'm taking the Packers in this game based on how they've looked. Micah Parsons looks hungry to prove himself worthy, and maybe he'll finally get that Joe Flacco sack he's been hunting after his entire career.
Yeah, I got the Packers in this one too. Initially in the contest picks this morning, I had the Packers covering that 7.5 points, but I just didn't feel too comfortable with it in Cleveland. I got the Packers winning outright, though. I think the Browns might have a chance to cover that. The 7.5 is a lot, so we'll see. But give me the Packers.
Yeah, I want to give everyone a warning this week if you're going to bet on football. Week 3 historically is an underdog week, so just be careful out there. This is the time of the year where the public thinks that they know who these teams are. And if you've been a 4-point or greater favorite, you're 13-0 straight up. So the public's been raking in money off these popular money line parlays. So be careful. I think we might see some upsets today. That being said, it's not going to be in this game, and the Packers are going to cover that 7.5. Matt LaFleur in his career in September, 17-6 against the spread on the road in September, 8-1 ATS. This is the Packers' first road game, so I expect them to be focused. I know. Some people are saying they might look ahead to the Cowboys next week, which is silly. One, to be looking ahead this early in the season. 2, you'd look ahead to the Cowboys. I mean, like the Packers have anything to worry about there. But yeah, I think the Packers are going to roll in this one. The Browns just stink.
Yeah, and yeah, there are a lot of road favorites, including interdivisional road favorites, and those are always interesting ones. And that's the one that we're going to talk about next. Colts at the Titans, and the Colts are a pretty big favorite in this. Look, dude, I expected the Colts to be better with Daniel Jones than they were with Anthony Richardson. And for the last several years, we've seen the Colts not be able to figure out the quarterback position and still put up kind of competitive seasons, flirting with the playoffs sometimes. They've looked really solid, and obviously they needed a penalty to beat the Broncos last week, but I think it was totally and completely valid. Everyone should have known that was leverage. So, sorry, Will, to your pick. But
Yeah.
I am taking the Colts at the Titans. I think that Cam Ward has not been good, and he's a rookie. I get it. He has not been good. I don't think the team is all that good. I don't think the Colts are going to put up like 35 or anything, but I think the Colts walk in there and take care of business.
Give me the Colts too. I like what I'm seeing so far from the Colts this year. They're actually like one of my like dark horses to make the playoffs. Way too early dark horse. Although they're 2-0, I'd consider them a dark horse.
So I've been betting on the NFL for a long time, and there's things when lines open up that just sometimes they just scream out to me, and I'm like, that is not right. And this week was one of those weeks. It doesn't happen every week, but the fact that this line opened, the Colts -3 on the road at the Titans. Think about it. No one wants to bet the Titans. The Titans are awful. Statistically, they're terrible out there offensively. And the Colts are everyone's darling. They've been gassed up all week about how they haven't punted the ball, blah, blah, blah. And now the sports books were comfortable putting this at 3. Now, yeah, of course, the line has moved a little bit because there's so much money that's coming on the Colts. But the fact that the sports books were comfortable with the Titans being a 3-point home dog tells me that that's probably the right side. I'm on the Titans today. I do think they pull off the upset and in this divisional matchup, and it's the Colts' first road game of the season. So give me the Titans.
I think they could certainly cover. That wouldn't be shocking to me at all. And look,
yeah,
the Colts,
5.5 now too. Yeah,
the Colts fucking dog walked the Dolphins, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they arguably could have lost against the Broncos at home, right? So I do hear what you're saying. I think like for anybody pretending like they're a Super Bowl contender based on what we've seen, I think that's a little too far to go. But I do think they're better than the fucking Titans wherever they play.
Yeah.
Bengals, Vikings. This matchup got a lot more interesting as both of these quarterbacks are now out. JJ McCarthy out for a few weeks. Joe Burrow out for basically the entire season. Browning comes in, who has played well at times in Joe Burrow's absence, but last week he won the game for him. He also threw 3 terrible fucking picks. And Carson fucking Wentz, his 6th team that he's starting for in 6 seasons, is going to take the reins for the Vikings. I think that the Vikings are going to look very good with Carson Wentz as quarterback. And I think it's going to start a conversation in Minnesota, depending on how these next few weeks possibly go. After the success we've seen with experienced guys like Sam Darnold going in there, success they had versus, and it's a small sample size for JJ McCarthy, certainly, but for essentially 7 quarters, JJ McCarthy has looked like dog shit. And the one quarter he looked decent was against probably a historically bad Bears defense. I'm taking the Vikings. Go Vikings.
I love it. I love what you said. I think Carson Wentz is going to look really good today, and it's going to open up the question of, maybe we just keep riding with Carson Wentz. Maybe we give him a little contract extension at the end of the year. They made a mistake last year with Sam Darnold having a historic career year for himself in Minnesota. I think Kevin O'Connell can coach up these veteran guys, and it's going to beg the question, maybe this J.J. McCarthy experiment, maybe we don't need to have an experiment. We got a guy in Carson Wentz who can command this offense good enough. Give me the Vikings all day against the Bengals.
Yeah, give me the Vikings with Super Bowl winning quarterback Carson Wentz. That's all I need to know.
Oh, you can't just say that shit. God, that doesn't mean anything. But yeah, I be an interesting game because of the backup quarterback situations for sure. Steelers, Patriots. Will, why don't you tell us about this game?
Well, the Steelers since 2012 are 1-8 straight up against the Patriots. Haven't beat the Patriots in Foxborough since 2008. You know what that means, Ryan?
They're due.
They're due.
They're due. Aaron Rodgers 0-2 straight up and ATS at Foxborough in his career. You know what that means, Beardo?
He's due.
He was playing Tom Brady.
Yeah, that too. Yeah. That too. No, this comes down to, we've seen with the Steelers, if you can get pressure on Rodgers, it's going to be a long day for him. I just don't think the Patriots can get a pass rush on Rodgers. Yeah, they had some nice stats last week, but I mean, they was also playing against the Dolphins, and they also gave up a ton of points to the Dolphins. I do think the Steelers end up getting. I haven't picked my Patriots yet this year, so when I do pick them, it might be a good time to take them. But right now, I don't think I'm going to take the Steelers in this one. Christian Gonzalez out again, even if he played. I don't know how good of shape he's going to be in. And the Patriots will be able to run the ball on the Steelers' defensive line, as everyone seems to be able to. But I think ultimately Rodgers is going to be pretty comfortable today and gets it done.
Yeah, give me the Steelers in a close game.
It makes me uncomfortable. This game makes me uncomfortable. I've picked the Steelers as well, but I'm very uncomfortable with the decision. The Steelers, like the way they looked against the Jets after the Jets' second game doesn't look very impressive. And then last week was obviously very rough for them. Mental mistakes for the team. They basically gave up that touchdown on the kickoff. But I'm going with the Steelers. I'll be happy as hell if the fucking Patriots beat Aaron Rodgers' old bum ass. So I'm taking the Steelers. Rams, Eagles. Dude, I want to pick the Rams so badly in this game. I don't think Philadelphia has looked particularly impressive. We were having so many conversations surrounding the tush push after the first couple weeks, and it almost got banned in the offseason. It didn't. But the problem now is people are saying, if you can't officiate it properly, if these people are false starting or line up in the neutral zone or offsides on every fucking play, then it has to be, and it can't be called, it can't be officiated by the refs, then it has to go. And there's been a lot of conversations about how people just don't like it and how this team's so fucking boring to watch and all this bullshit. I really do think unless the refs get a handle on the tush push over the rest of the season and start calling it accurately, I think it will get banned in the offseason. Mm-hmm. So maybe because of that attention, there will be so much focus put on that. And you know what? Fuck it. I'm picking the Rams. I'm switching my pick. I'm picking the Rams. I talked myself into it. I got the Rams going into Philly and putting a beat down on the fucking Eagles, who aren't able to do their bullshit anymore.
Damn. Will said this morning on Game On that the league put out a message to officials that they need to officiate the tush push better. You said that this morning, right, Will?
Yep, they do.
So if there's going to be a hyper focus on that, then that's good, because I do think that it's bullshit that their guards are false starting on every single fucking tush push play. But the Eagles are now, in my opinion, kind of like the Chiefs the past couple of years, where and what I mean by that is, like, the Chiefs will take any opportunity, any mistake, and they will find it, and then they will fucking run it down your fucking throat and make you pay for it. That's the Eagles now. That's the Eagles late last year and this year. If you make small little mistakes against the Eagles, they will capitalize on it and fucking kick your ass. And until the Eagles show us that they're not doing that, or that they can be beat, you can't bet against them. I'm taking the Eagles today.
Okay. We might see history today. The Rams have covered going back to last season 5 straight games. McVay has never, with the Rams, covered 6 in a row. So we'll see. I'm taking the Rams in this one. Philly is 2-0 straight up, but Hurts is yet to throw over 152 yards. His average depth of target is 6 yards.
He also has not thrown a touchdown. The only team in the NFL without a passing touchdown this year.
Wow.
Yeah, and if the Rams can go out and get an early lead, then you're going to force Jalen Hurts to do something, be uncomfortable and do something that he's not used to doing, or at least hasn't done this season. And quite frankly, I haven't been impressed with the Eagles defense yet. Now, Vic Fangio defense does usually take half a season just to kind of mesh together and get into true form. But also you got to factor in, it was a Super Bowl rematch last week with the Eagles and the Chiefs. And so do we see the Eagles come out a little flat after that? I don't know. The Rams obviously lost to the Eagles in the playoffs. This is a little revenge game for them. They almost beat the Eagles, and hell, probably would have went to the Super Bowl had they done it. So I definitely love the Rams catching the 3.5, and I'm going to pick them to win today.
And this isn't in a snow game either, so Matthew Stafford will be a little more comfortable, not playing in the snow like that. Well, I switched my pick. I was gonna fucking pick the Eagles, but I'm switching to Rams. I like the Rams. Jets, Buccaneers. I think old Tyrod Tyrod Taylor getting the start for the Jets. Tampa Bay, who, man, Baker on Thursday Night Football with the comeback, the clutch Buccaneers. I'm taking Buccaneers all day in this one at home against the New York Jets.
I'm taking the Bucs too, and what's really important about this game is that this is a Todd Bowles revenge game. You don't want to lose to the fucking Jets. Let's go Bucs.
Yeah, I'm on the Bucs as well, but I do think the Jets are a live dog. I think it's going to be closer than people think, and I do think they cover the spread.
Especially if that spread ticks up one more point, possibly. Like 100%, yeah.
It probably won't. It was at 7 earlier in the week, and the sharp bettors have bet it down. But Tampa Bay is dealing with a lot of injuries. Lost another lineman last week. Tampa Bay could be 0-2. There are a couple Baker completing that 4th and 10 last week really kept them alive there. If he doesn't do that, they're 1-1. I think the Bucs are sitting kind of fat and happy right now. They're coming back. I don't think they're going to look crisp and clean this week, especially since I believe they have the Eagles on deck next week, which is always a fun game between those two. But I ultimately think the Bucs get it done. But I think the Jets, who knows? The Jets, I took the Jets last week and they looked terrible. So maybe they just really suck that bad. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. Maybe they'll look better with Tyrod than they looked with Justin Fields. Raiders, Commanders, and Marcus Mariota is getting the start opposite of offensive coordinator Chip Kelly, who was obviously his coach when he was at Oregon way back in the day. Marcus Mariota, been around, been there, done that, all that good stuff. The Raiders have not looked particularly impressive. They're having a tough time running the football. Ashton Genty wants more carries, but he's already got quite a few carries. They just haven't been effective. Granted, he hasn't had an opportunity to do much when he's gotten the ball based on the plays they've had and based on some of the blocking for him. But this is a tough one, man. I am going to take the Commanders at home against the Raiders, but this is almost a fucking coin flip to me.
When Marcus Mariota got a few starts last year, he looked very good in this Cliff Kingsbury offense. Also, another revenge game. Marcus Mariota revenge game against the Raiders. He wants to stick it to him. He's like, I should have started over Derek Carr. Are you kidding me? No, but in all seriousness, I like the Redskins today. Marcus Mariota fits good in that offense. He's always played well there. And I have some prize picks for you.
All right.
My favorites. All in one game. Zach Ertz getting in the end zone today. Anytime touchdown. Also, Geno Smith. He's thrown a pick or two. He's always due. I love this game because it's got my favorite prop bets in it every single week in one game.
Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful.
It is lovely.
The best job in the world is backup quarterback. I mean, you get paid handsomely. You're not expected to do much, and then when you are thrown out there, and no one gets mad at you for losing. All it is upside.
No,
if you win, they love you. Yeah, no pressure. This one's going to be interesting. If the Raiders can come out and get an early lead, then you're going to have Mariota playing from behind. I feel like he might try to do too much there. But if the Commanders get a lead, I'm going to probably be live betting them because Mariota's a good game manager. I do like the Raiders for the first half. Mariota's 28-45 against the first half spread in his career. He doesn't usually get off to a hot start there. But I got the Raiders. I love betting on a team and picking a team that on national television standalone game embarrasses himself, looks like garbage, and everyone's ready to write them off. That's usually the following week when I like to bet on them. So I'm taking the Raiders.
There you go. Falcons, Panthers.
Gross.
I think kind of a gross game. The Panthers have not looked very good, and we know we saw how they looked. Was it Sunday night against the Vikings? And the kicker comes in. The kicker they just signed to replace Younghoe Koo, who's officially off the team now, who will probably be signed by the Bears so he can miss field goals for us. They're just kind of grab. Michael Penix hasn't looked great so far this year. I do think that they win this game at Carolina. I think the Panthers are fucking trash, but I don't think they're blowing the doors off them. I think we're going to get a heavy dose of Bijan Robinson. Maybe Penix throws for 200 yards or something, but they take care of business because Carolina's bad.
Yep, that's where I'm at. Carolina's very bad, and I think Dave Canales could be one of the first head coaches fired. I think this is certainly his last year as the head coach of the Panthers. Give me the Falcons in a close game.
Nobody wants to bet or take the Panthers. This is another divisional game where you got the road team favored. Everyone's loving the Falcons, and statistically, the Falcons haven't played up to, like, they should be better than they are. So there's room for improvement for the Falcons. That all being said, I'm going to just on principle go with the Panthers in this one. I think they do pull off the upset today and get their first win of the season. I don't feel good about it. I can't give you any reason why. It's just one of those where I look at, and I've seen this so many times in week 3. The public's loving the Falcons. Everyone's betting the Falcons, yet the line moved from 5.5 to 4.5, which isn't really that significant, but I think the Panthers are live today.
All right. Texans, Jaguars. Texans, Jags. This is
another gross one.
This one isn't as gross as the other one. It's a tough one, man. Houston has not looked good. CJ Stroud, ever since he fucking went to big bro Caleb Williams, has been one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. They tried to kind of revamp this offensive line by trading away one of their really good offensive linemen and then trying to rebuild. I don't know what their thought process was for that with Laramie Tunsil on the move, but I'm taking the Jags. The Jags somehow let that game slip away from them somehow, some way. I think they do bounce back and get this victory because I just can't trust anything the Texans are doing right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the Jaguars today at home. The Texans have no identity. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. So give me the Jaguars.
This is desperation time. Texans can't start off 0-3, especially if the Colts win today. Then they'll be 3 games back in the division. I'm on the Texans just because this is a must win. Also, the Jags. Historically, between these two teams, the road team seems to win. I don't know why in this division. These two teams, whoever's the road team wins the game. It's one of those weird ones. But also, the Jags really. I mean, what They were playing a Bengals defense last week, and then I believe they opened up with Carolina. They're about to see a top 5 defense, so we're going to see how that offense reacts to a pissed off 0-2 top 5 defense in the Texans. And I think the Texans ultimately are going to get it done.
Well, we'll see. It is desperation time for them, 100%, no doubt. Broncos, Chargers. This could be an awesome game, but I'm loving what we're seeing out of the Chargers. Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, a couple years now, them together. We have seen Justin Herbert unlocked in a way. He's always been. You look at the first couple years in the league, you stack it up against other people's first, 4 years or whatever. It's phenomenal, period. But now it just seems like they've got everything going the right way. They've got a couple running backs who can do stuff back there. They've got these weapons. Keenan Allen is now back there and comfortable, and as a kind of a third option dude who can just roam around in the middle and, find open zones and do stuff like that. I love the Chargers this year, what we've seen from them, and I'm picking them in this game too. Me too.
I don't like
copy my picks, Beardo.
I gave all my picks this morning.
I'm just kidding.
No, Bo Nix is a problem, man. He's a crybaby. I'm sick of his antics. How he's always bitching and shouting at Sean Payton. He's a problem, man. So they gotta belt him or spank him or something, man, because he's just a whiny little fucking bitch. Give me the Chargers at home.
Sean Payton.
It's ironic because we just saw last week Jacksonville, right, have issues between their head coach and their quarterback on the field, back and forth. So
Sean Payton is the worst coach in the NFL in the first 2 weeks against the spread, going back to his Saints days. Weeks 3 on, he's one of the best. I don't know why. I think that's why maybe we've seen the Broncos struggle these first couple weeks. I'm on the Broncos in this one, a big game. They can't afford. If they lose this one, then the Chargers got 2 games up on them. And I think they have to be. I can't imagine that plane ride home last week after that, the way they lost that game. I expect Sean Payton to have his guys dialed in. I think it's going to be good. And also, I think everyone is in love with the Chargers, and maybe the Chargers are legit and they are the real deal. But I think they're overvalued right now, so I'm going to take the Broncos.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a really good game. I do.
Mm-hmm.
Saints and the Seahawks. The Saints have looked a little rough. They've looked a little rough for the past 2 years, certainly. Seahawks at home. I don't have too much interest in watching this game, just going to be honest. But I do think the Seahawks and Sam Darnold get the win. I think you get a heavy dose of that running game, Kenneth Walker. So that's how I see it. I got the Seahawks winning comfortably.
This is an insanely high spread right here for the Seahawks. I know they're at home and the Saints are 0-2, but the Saints have been in somewhat close games. I'm picking the Seahawks today, but I think the Saints keep it close.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think the Seahawks win, although I would love the Saints to win to knock out a bunch of like 30% of survivor pools and whatnot. Behind the Bills, the Seahawks are the next popular pick this week. But I got the Seahawks winning. It's going to be tough for Rattler to go up to that stadium and play. That stadium is crazy loud. I've been there several times. It's just stupid loud. And I don't trust Rattler in that spot. But I do think the Saints keep it close, and I don't really trust the Seahawks offense yet. So 7.5 is just way too much. So I agree with Beardo. I take the points with the Saints. Expect a close game. Seattle pulls it off in the end.
I think the Saints. I think in general the Saints keep things closer when they play at home. Than on the road. So we'll see. Cowboys, Bears. I don't think we're going to see too much defense in this game. The Bears defense just gave up 52 to the Lions. We saw the Dallas Cowboys turn Russell Wilson into Russell Wilson of a decade ago. The Bears can't get a pass rush. And all of their top pass coverage guys, both their top DBs and their top cover linebacker are out, maybe for a significant amount of time. Jalen Johnson, best player on the team, is on IR now. Maybe for 4 weeks, maybe for more. I think it is going to just be a lot of fucking offense from the Dallas Cowboys. What we need to see is if the Bears can keep up. The one thing I will say is so far, without Micah Parsons, obviously that Dallas front four is not as scary as it once was. Certainly not as scary as having Aiden Hutchinson on the other side coming after you, destroying your tackles. The Bears tackles, Darnell Wright has had problems with penalties, but he's played way better. Braxton Jones has played like dog shit. I think the pass rush holds up a little bit. I think they hold up that pass rush a little bit. I think we see more actual in-rhythm stuff, not Caleb having to bail early because the pocket's collapsing. And I think the Bears put up some points. This is all vibes-based, and because we got to have it, because if we don't, we're fucked. Number one on my confidence, but I'm taking the Bears at home against the Cowgirls.
Wow.
And I feel great about it.
I can tell. The Cowboys can score points, man. They've scored a lot of points in their first two games. Their offense, when they get it clicking and CeeDee Lamb can actually hang on to the damn ball, the Cowboys are looking pretty damn good on offense. I think a lot of points are going to be scored this game. And the Bears, I don't know. I don't know about the Bears. I want Caleb Williams to do good. I think he is a good quarterback, but he's not showing it right now. They have offensive line troubles. They got defensive problems. Caleb Williams can't seem to find some of his best targets. Cole Kmet has been pretty much absent. I like the Cowboys in blowout fashion. Cowboys by at least 2 scores.
High total in this one, 50.5. I have a fun stat for you. The Bears and Cowboys have faced off 8 times in the last 20 years. The over is 8-0 in those games, going over by 13.7 points per game. One of those two teams has scored 30 or more points in 7 of those 8 matchups. So just a little tidbit there for you bettors that might want to get in on the action.
And Dak, I think in his last 3 matchups with the Bears has like an 88 QBR or something. He's played very well against them, period.
Yeah. I like the Bears today. I think they get it done. The Cowboys defense is trash. they're going to be out. They're going to be playing on grass, right? And I think that will slow down the Cowboys just a little bit. We'll see how much of an impact Jadeveon Clowney has. It from reports sounds like he'll get some snaps, but isn't going to be playing a whole lot. But someone came into my chat this morning and said, "Did you hear this week Caleb Williams blew off watching film with coach to go see his merch guy? It's the Bears are in shambles and blah blah blah." And I'm like, I like that. I like that because listen,
there's so much fake bullshit stories out there. It's so insane, dude.
I want it to be true. I want it to be true because I like it. Because listen, Caleb Williams watching film isn't going to help him. We've seen that. It doesn't help him. He's not a film guy. Let him go out, get his mind right, go buy some merch, go do whatever the hell you want to do to get you mentally prepared for this game. I hope it's true because I think that means Caleb Williams is going to be dialed in.
It's not true. And it's so funny because like Ben Johnson is like specifically called out a lot of people in terms of the practice habits. We know who he's referring to. He's referring to Montez Sweat, who is getting paid more than anybody else and playing like shit. We know he's talking about DJ Moore and some of the plays he's taken off. Like we know if you actually are paying attention, you know. However, because that messaging goes out there, every single fucking retard like Colin Cowherd or whoever else, and every stupid fucking article that gets clicks, it's all bullshit. Like come out like that. It's so fucking frustrating. But fuck all you goddamn queers. I hate all of you like so much. You fucking.
I got a prize fix for you on this one. Rome Odunze, 2 touchdowns.
Rome Odunze is going to finish as a top 10 wide receiver this year. 100%.
Got him on my fantasy league. He's getting the end zone twice today.
Maybe he got an end zone twice last week. But yeah, I fucking hope so. That's a great connection between them for sure. Cardinals, 49ers.
Very interesting game.
Yes. Brock Purdy still in no-go, or is he going? We haven't.
No,
I think it's
officially Mac Jones.
Okay, it's officially Mac Jones, who went for like 300 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. The Cardinals once again showed their Cardinals tendencies with just their collapse in the second half. I like what we've seen from the 49ers and their defense and everything. I'm taking the 49ers with Mac Jones at home against the Cards.
This is a very interesting one for me. But my gut's just telling me, go with the Cards. I'm going with the Cardinals today in a close game.
Yeah, I got the Cards too. Everyone's telling me they're the worst 2-0 team possibly of all time, which I don't believe it. I still think they have really good defense. San Francisco's had trouble with running quarterbacks. Kyle Shanahan, 7-9 straight up in his career against the Cardinals, and the Niners have lost 5 consecutive home games against the spread against NFC West opponents. I've trusted the Niners in this spot way too many times, have been burned. And maybe that's why I'm on the Cardinals here. But I do like this Cardinals team. I think it's going to be a close game. I won't be surprised whoever ends up winning this, but I'm going to go with the Cardinals.
All right. Chiefs, Giants, the best Sunday night football game of the year. Beardo, take it away.
Have we ever had 2 0-2 teams on primetime Sunday night football? This might be the first time ever.
We've probably had it before.
Maybe. No, this is a
the
must-win
5th night game with winless teams to meet in the 3rd game or later. By the way,
only 5. This is a must-win game for the Chiefs. The Giants, but if the Giants want to win this game, obviously, stupid penalties. You can't have them. You can't have them because the Chiefs will fucking eat you alive for stupid penalties. If the Giants defense can get pressure on Patrick Mahomes, it's going to be a long day for Patrick Mahomes. If the Giants defense, at least their front, the defensive front has looked well. Now their secondary, that's another question. I like the Chiefs to win, but I think the Giants cover. I think it's going to be a close game, surprisingly close, but I'm going to do the right decision and pick the Chiefs to win. But I'll be rooting like hell for the Giants.
Hell yeah.
I want to be wrong.
I'm taking Kansas City. We have seen their struggles up against good teams. This is going on the road. You're not wrong. That defensive front can provide a lot of pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Is Xavier Worthy a go? Do we know yet? We probably don't even know for the game tonight, do we?
I think
that
he's
one
ruled
I'm not
out.
too sure.
I think he's ruled out from what I saw in fantasy.
Okay, yeah, certainly not enough to like. Obviously, you probably can't start him. You probably can't feel good about starting him in fantasy, knowing that we're not sure about his status. I'm taking the Chiefs, man. I just think that this is what they need to get them back in the right spot. I think Russell Wilson comes back to earth a little bit, facing a better defense than he faced last week with the Dallas Cowboys, and the Chiefs desperately need a win.
Yeah, I think if the Chiefs were 2-0, this would be a good spot to take the Giants as Chiefs kind of overlooking, at least with the points and whatnot, because they do have Baltimore on deck next week. Brutal start to the season. But since 2021, the over is 11-1 when Mahomes starts on the road in night games. And it's a lower total, 44.5. So you total bettors out there, the over might be the play here. But I'm going to take the Chiefs. I don't feel good about it. I'm not touching the spread because I don't trust the Giants. This is going to be the toughest defense the Giants have seen. They've gone up against Washington and Dallas's defense. Now they're going to go up against the Chiefs. The Chiefs defense is not what it was in the years past, but it's still pretty damn good. At least better than the Commanders and the Cowboys. So we'll see how Giants offense looks up against a good defense like that. But Chiefs, how can you not back Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid when they're 0-2 and season's on the line? So I'll take the Chiefs straight up.
And then Lions-Ravens, great freaking matchup, especially coming off the huge high that the Lions had facing the Bears, Ben Johnson, all of that. In this one, I'm taking the Ravens, and I feel pretty comfortable about it. I feel pretty comfortable taking the Ravens on Monday Night Football at home against the Lions. Jared Goff outside, kind of coming off this big emotional high that they had, getting that big revenge game, I feel like a lot of those Lions players played very inspired football to show that we don't need Ben Johnson here. And I think going up against the Ravens, it's not going to work out well for them. I think they're going to gash that defense. I really do. So I'm taking the Ravens.
I'm on the Ravens too. The Lions got embarrassed week 1 against the Packers, a really good Packers team, and then last week played a really bad Chicago Bears team with some incentive to stick it to Ben Johnson. But I'm not too comfortable in this new look Lions team as far as like the coaching staff goes. After losing Ben Johnson and their what's his name, Glenn from New York, Aaron Glenn. So we'll see. I think this is going to be a really good game, high scoring. I like the over on the point total, but give me the Ravens.
Yeah, I like the Ravens too. Lamar in the afternoon or night games is 15-3 straight up. Harbaugh with the Ravens 23-4 in night games alone. The Ravens at home, how can you not like them here? I think this is actually going to be I think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be like the Buffalo game, except for the Ravens aren't going to blow a 15-point lead. This isn't the Lions team that everyone remembers the last 2 years. I think Ryan hit it on the head with a emotional win last week and whatnot for them. And then Jared Goff outdoors. Who wants to bet on Jared Goff outdoors? Give me Lamar and this Ravens team. And in the chat, they're asking if Derrick Henry's okay. Yeah, they didn't need him last week. I mean, he didn't get many carries or many yards, but they still put up 40-something points. Give me the Ravens, and Derrick Henry is getting in the end zone in this one.
I heard Derrick Henry's slowing down this year. He's done. It's over for him.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's going to finish with 600 yards rushing.
If he does, we could tie it all the way back to that fumble in the Bills game. Like, that's where his career ended, right there.
That's true. It was Beardo's fault too.
Yep.
Beardo spoken into existence. So those are the NFL games. Let's get through some of these chats you guys are sending. Taker for 5 Bears just put the NFL on notice. Caleb Williams just got his nails done. Hopefully puts a suicide hotline so I know who to call again. Pissin' Penguins for $20. Doesn't say anything. Thank you, Pissin' Penguins. Burn for 2. Trump shook judge's hand. The Tigers haven't won since. That might be true, actually.
Wow.
They're on a 5-game losing streak, so I would have to check and see, but the Tigers, it's been rough since then for them, that's for sure. American Man. Hard to see an era come to an end for Clayton Kershaw, an absolute legend. His best year, without question, 2014, where he pitched a no-hitter, got an NL MVP and Cy Young with ERA of 1.7. He was this generation's Sandy Koufax. I mean, the lowest career ERA in the live ball era, I believe, at 2.54 for Kershaw. That is historic. Like, it just is.
I read era as ERA at first. I was confused. I was like, what?
Oh, in the live ball ERA. Yeah.
I was like, what?
Yeah. American man, even with all the ups and downs on Mr. Kershaw, he's worthy of the Hall of Fame. And as a fan, I thank him for delivering us 2 championships. Yes, I'm counting 2020. I don't care what the hippies say. If I was a fan and my team won in 2020, I would count it too.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I probably would too.
But not for the Lakers. Fuck that. McCock for 5. I was expecting Beardy to say, fuck the Astros. Now I look like the asshole.
Yep, you are.
0 Fox Giants overrated. Russell Wilson is trash. DC4L.
Dallas Cowboys for life, maybe?
I believe, yes. Jose Contreras over on Rumble. My bad. I math wrong. Will has the same record as Ryan Beardo. So we are all tied at 22-6 so far.
All right.
So that's good to know.
It's all right. You guys can have home field advantage and have an extra or one less loss.
The lurker from Bama for 5. Making the drive from Birmingham to Tampa next weekend to watch Eagles-Bucks. Should be a good game.
Cool. Enjoy it, man.
Cool. I'm making the drive from Dallas to Orlando tonight after I go watch the Rangers play. And hope I don't fall asleep. So, but that is it for us. A little bit of a shorter stream just because I have to check out of this hotel and get to the game. So a little shorter stream than we normally do, but appreciate you guys hanging out. Beardo, what do you got going on, man?
Watching football, man. And I'll be rooting for the Giants tonight. That's it. I might be on suicide watch too.
Well, you're going up against the Chiefs. Your season is going to be shit from the beginning. I feel like, look, I feel like even if the Bears lose, like if it's a shootout and we see this offense actually go, like you could take some positive things from that. If they get like really blown out again, it is going to be a rough couple weeks here for me.
That's all. I just want the Giants to keep it close, man.
Yeah. Will, what do you got going on, man?
Not much live every day this week, 4:30 a.m. Pacific, that is. We'll be recapping football tomorrow here at Game On _picks or Game On Show over on Rumble. My old co-host Cricket is joining me tomorrow. He's back. We're bringing the band back together, so should be a fun stream recapping everything that happened in the NFL today and college football. We had some good college football games yesterday as well.
We did. We had a lot of really shitty college football games, a handful of good ones. I can't believe IU blew the fuck out of Illinois the way that they did.
Mm-hmm.
That was crazy. Obviously, Oklahoma comes through against Auburn. So we had some solid
Tech
ones.
over Utah.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah. But all right, guys.
Cougs got destroyed.
Yeah, nobody cares. Purdue got destroyed against Notre Dame for the 10th straight time. Yay. Notre Dame gets their first win of the season. Fucking hacks. I fucking hate Notre Dame. But anyway, that's it for us, guys. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye, everybody.